in the competition. It was Oscar Wilde to observe that we all lie in the gutter, but some of us are looking up at the stars. In other words, it's all to do with your attitude to life. And it's a very appropriate quote insofar as our next story is concerned. Miriam Owens lost her sister to cancer, but recently she found a way to commemorate and celebrate her sister's life and to bring new hope to cancer sufferers up and down the land. Our Joan O'Sullivan found that the solution was in the stars.
Miriam Owens is a special lady. So special, in fact, that when you're in her home, it doesn't have to be nighttime to see the stars. They're a constant theme and the symbol of a journey and a sisterly bond that began in childhood.
I was born into a family of 9 children, but when I was 20 months old, my mother got TB and was sent to Edinburgh, and we were sent into an orphanage in Tralee, myself and my two eldest sisters at the time.
It was the late 1950s and the girls were sent to an industrial school in Tralee where Miriam would spend her entire childhood.
We were sent in there to be looked after, and my mother did it in the best intention in the world. Not everything was bad inside there, not every nun was bad inside there, but there was one nun that really inflicted an awful lot of mental and physical abuse.
One punishment at the hands of this nun, who's now deceased, has stayed with Miriam. She describes being woken at night, brought outside and being made undress and lie in a wooden box.
Basically then I just closed my eyes tight, and I kept them closed so long that when I opened them, whatever way I looked up, it was just stars everywhere. So I started counting them and I fell asleep. My next memory was being giving me back my nitrous and telling me to get ready for Mass.
One person did her best to protect Miriam though, her elder sister, Joan.
But Joan was so good to us, she kind of took the blame for everything. She did it, you know, so she kind of took a lot of the bad beatings she took for us, you know, so, I mean, she was only a child herself. Joan left in October on her 16th birthday in 1969. And when she was leaving, she turned back and she says, I'll come back for you. And she did in 1970. We came home.
Miriam and Joan later married and had children, but Miriam in England and Joan in Ireland.
I didn't have a lot of physical contact with Joan, but I had a lot of chatting on the phone to her. Every Friday without fail, 7 o'clock, sitting on the kitchen table.
For a long time it seemed that the worst was behind the sisters. Then Joan became ill with cancer.
She never told us how bad she was. She never once told us that she was going to die. She never did. She told us she was going to be fine. I came home and I didn't recognise her. She was about 4.5 stone. Skeleton. Of course, when I went in then, I said to her, I promise you one day you will be remembered. I will do something really special. I don't know when, like I said, but I will promise I will do something.
On June 16th, 1994, Joan died. Miriam didn't forget her promise, but didn't know how to fulfil it either. One night, after she'd returned to Ireland, the sight of her niece playing with the musical ornament inspired an idea.
And I said, that reminds me of the orphanage. Like the lullaby, like a child thing. And whatever way the memory of me in the box and waking up and see the stars and counting them, I suggested, that's it. I've got it. We'll make stars, millions of them.
She called the project Our Stars for Life, and it began with a song written by her niece Eve and recorded in the Kerry School of Music.
Eve went home, wrote the song, within, I'd say, 15 minutes, gifted the words, told her the story, and she came up with the song, the words about Stars for Life.
The release of the song was only part of the project, however.
Basically what I wanted to do was something that creative, that everybody could get involved in. I wanted people to make them in a way that I can mould them together and sculpture them into one star, so everybody is a star.
Our Stars for Life appeal to schools across Ireland and indeed the general public to make a star for a loved one they've lost to cancer.
4 stars. Aren't you special?
And they all died from cancer.
Did they? Sonny.
His real name is Conrad.
His-
Everyone called him Sonny.
His real name was Conrad, everybody called him Sonny.
Miriam hopes the €1 donation with each star will raise significant funds for cancer care. Donations from particular counties are to go back to services in that county. But in the meantime, the stars will go on display at the Ballyseedy Garden Centre on December 13th.
Joan lived in Ballyseedy, she died in Ballyseedy, and she loved the garden. And where better place can you put stars? And at Christmas. And Ballyseedy Home and Garden Centre have promised that when the star event is over, or when all stars are moulded together, they would put the star up in the centre for life, in memory of every person who has lost a loved one to cancer in Ireland.
How do you think she would feel seeing all this?
So proud. Not proud of herself, but proud that, I suppose because we always made promises to each other and we never broke them.
And if you'd like more information about that Stars for Life fundraising drive, you